while I was drinking, I was mainly drinking because I didn't know how to deal with emotions from a really young age. I was a very angry little girl, and there was a lot of stuff I went through too, and I would feel sad and guilty a lot of the times. And I just didn't want to feel that. I didn't want to feel sad because I thought that made me weak, because I would get sad and I would just want to cry. And I felt like that meant I was weak. I just didn't want to feel that. So I would go towards alcohol. And also, when I would get angry, I know when I would get angry, I would just want to cuss somebody out, cuss at that person. I would literally, like, I feel like I would go crazy. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to let it out in a healthy way. You know, there was times where shit, I literally punched the wall. I just didn't know how to deal with any of that. So I'd go to alcohol to just numb myself, not feel anything, and just kind of forget about it. That's not a way to let go. That's not a way to deal with your emotions. You're just kind of pushing it under the rug, and they're all going to come to the surface later on in your life. That's not the way to deal with anything. Alcohol just leads to more problems. And it's like those emotions just get bigger and bigger. That negativity, the madness, the sadness, it just gets bigger, where you're then going to feel like you're going crazy. You're just going to have all these emotions all over the place, and you're not going to know what to do with them. So it's better to face them now then face them later on. And you want to learn to do it in a healthy way where you're not hurting somebody else's feelings. If you need to punch something, then punch a pillow. You know, you're not hurting anybody. Sometimes you might just need that. You might need to scream, cry, whatever it is. You want to let out those emotions, not act on it, and not let those emotions consume you. Facing your emotions is crucial for your mental health and for personal growth, to be honest, because confronting those emotions helps with your mental well-being, because instead of just thinking about and playing all these scenarios and just, all up in your mind, you are actually confronting them instead of just pushing them away or just trying to forget about them and distracting yourself with something else. No, because then you're not doing anything. You're just hurting yourself mentally even more. And acknowledging them is so important for growth, because you're acknowledging them. You are being accountable, and you are going to do something about them. That's growth. You're learning from those emotions. You're learning more about where they're coming from, because you're going to dig deep, and you're learning more about yourself and how to deal with them. That is personal growth, okay? Don't think about it as something negative where you're just like, I don't know what to do. It's okay if you don't know what to do in the beginning, because you're learning through the process, and there's no right and wrong. It's just what works for you, and that's growth, because then you will know what to do when you are confronted with similar emotions that come up later on. Remember that alcohol, and honestly any substance, is just a temporary relief, and it helps you escape at that moment for a brief moment. It doesn't help you forget and numb yourself for the rest of your life. It doesn't address the root cause of your emotional pain. It doesn't help with anything. It's not helping you heal. That's just like a short term pleasure. It's nothing long term that's going to help you long term, nor does it help you in the short term. It helps you escape. You might not feel it for a little bit, but then it's going to come up again. It might not come up right that second after. It might come up a week later, a month later, but it's most definitely going to come up. And obviously, you don't want it to come up, so that's where you are then depending on the alcohol, where you're like, well, let me just drink and drink and drink and drink. And you just end up depending on alcohol to escape every day, to literally not think about your problems, about you, about your situations, to not feel anything. Instead of alcohol resolving any of your issues, it's actually creating more issues, because it puts you in this negative state. It rises negative feelings, negative emotions, which are going to be more tough for you to handle and actually control in the long run. You know, you might think it's fun and but it's really not fun. You want to stop escaping and start your healing journey. You want to understand your feelings. You want to understand where they are coming from. You want to understand yourself. You need to start giving a fuck about yourself and not putting yourself to the side, your emotions to the side. Because I'm telling you, it's going to be harder in the long run. Those emotions are going to triple up. It's not going to be like how they currently are. It's you're letting them consume you, to be honest. You think you are letting go of those emotions and just doing I don't know what. You're literally just pushing them to the side when you are escaping, but you are feeding those emotions with more negativity by drinking the alcohol. It's going to be harder to deal with them because it's just going to be so many things. So many things are just going to hit you at once. And since it's been what you think easier for you to just drink it away, that's just what you're going to continue to want to do instead of actually face it. Which, yeah, it's going to be a little bit harder, but it's all worth it, and that's growth, and that's a step towards self-love, towards taking care of yourself, towards understanding yourself and those feelings, where they are coming from, getting to the root cause. You're just creating this negative cycle, relying on alcohol to cope. You're creating this dependency lifestyle on alcohol or on any other substance that you might be using. Or if you're just doing alcohol, that dependency is going to lead you somewhere worse. And I know this because I went through this. I experienced this. I was just depending on alcohol, and I wanted something stronger. I wanted literally to escape. I wanted to numb myself. I just didn't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck about me. I didn't give a fuck about my life, about anything. And what did that lead to? It led to cocaine. And you don't think about the damage that it's doing to you physically, but especially mentally, because nobody really tells you about these things. You might hear, oh, it's bad for you. Yeah, I've heard, that it's bad for you, but I didn't give a shit. I didn't give a fuck. I especially didn't know about mental health. And let me tell you that it just made it worse. It literally just made it worse. And I just, I started depending on that. Alcohol affects everything about you. It turns you into some person that's really not you. It's really another spirit taking over your body. And it affects not only the relationship with yourself, but the relationships you have with other people, with those people around you, your friends, your family. Because what you're doing is something negative. If there's people around you that's positive, you think they're going to be around you, around that negativity? No, they're not going to want to be around you, and you are going to lose people, genuine people that you have a true connection with, because with you just drinking, you're going to attract people who are also drinking their life away, who are just numbing and escaping. You are going to lose those people that actually care about you, that actually love you, and that are actually trying to level up in life. They're going to grow and they're going to leave you behind. You're going to stay behind with all of these people who are also escaping and numbing themselves. When you surround yourself with that, it's just going to be harder to get out of that, because that's all that's around you. Those people that are growing might help you, but you're not going to take it, because you really have to help out yourself first, and you're going to be, how would you say this in English? You're just going to be aferrado to do what you want to do and to keep numbing instead of actually realizing what it's doing to you, to your relationships. You're not going to give a fuck about your life. You don't give a fuck about you. So you're just going to stay there and not even at the same place. You're going to keep going backwards.